Hi everybody, we're going to be talking about twin flames tonight, so trigger warning about that because a lot of this can be sensitive topic and sensitive material. Just give me a second here to pin a comment if you are watching live. Hi, thank you for coming in. So, if you are new here or if you are only a follower of mine for the past couple of years, you may not know me or the fact that for a large part of my life and business that was taken up with being and helping twin flames. So my name, if you don't know, is Danielle, #𝑓𝇳𝓹𓓴 at 𝑓𝇳𝓹𝓴 of damseldesigns.com. And as I said, previous to the past couple of years, much of my business, especially my online business, has been taken up with helping and guiding twin flame clients. Of course, that happened previous to because I had a large part of my business and a large number of years in helping people before I took my business online. But it really exploded about 4-ish, maybe a little more years ago when I started presenting in the online space as well. And at that time, twin flame became much more significant in the community and in my life personally and in the type of client that I was attracting and helping. And so for a few years, almost all of my clients were twin flame, even though we would do mediumship and energy healing and inner child and other capacity things and empath and other things that you may know me for. It was really centered around twin flame. And that was okay with me because I've been a twin flame for many, many lifetimes. I've worked with the god and goddess in many different lifetimes, and it was a huge part of my mission. But then a couple of years ago, I really started noticing the codependency in the twin flame community, and I noticed it in my clients as well. And twin flame comes in to clear such a measure of codependency that many of us have allowed or carried on our souls for so long. And so I really didn't want to contribute to that any longer. There was so much codependency in terms of reading in the online space and creating twin flame content, and I pulled back from creating that type of content publicly because people, as I said, were becoming dependent on it, not only from me, but I would hear from my clients they would have to check other readers and multiple pages multiple times a day, and it was just really unhealthy. So I pulled back from doing so much of that publicly. Hey, thank you for coming in. So I pulled back from doing so much of that publicly and continue to work with my clients and work for the Twin Flame Collective behind the scenes. And then what happened was I ended up graduating a bunch of twin flame clients. There were some that were to my taste and experience a little too much still in the codependent culture and not ready to give up on that. So I disengaged from some clients and released them for their own experience and for their own growth, which I'm thankful that a few of them did thank me for and saw that that was the better route. And I continue to work, as I said, behind the scenes and focus really deeply on my own healing journey. And on that of my one-on-one clients and my collective work. And what ended up happening and becoming really predominant and important was the fact that my guides started downloading to me all this extra higher level information about twin flame, about the templates that have been laid out for many twin flames by Isis and Osiris, who are some of the most predominant gods and goddesses in the twin flame community, and who some of my older followers know I've presented programs with before. And that's why I have this new program as well that you may have seen I've been talking about since this March, or March 2022 if you're watching this at another time on a replay. And I've already run it with success, my new program, and I'm so proud of the clients that completed that and are doing well, I'm so happy to say. But the basis for it is re-educating the twin flame community so that we can come out of these toxic cycles and cultures and dogmas that seem to have taken over and start to reconnect with some of the higher level information that twin flame is and could be and was meant to be, when the dogmas and that codependency weren't sort of crowding out all other possibilities. So this is why they gave me the information about twin flame templates, because if you're familiar with the word template, I have one here in case it's been a while since you used one. A template basically is a guide, a drawing guide, and rather than simply copy pasting and reprinting, a template allows you to still draw what you're supposed to or wanting to be drawing, and with human error, human nature, divine nature, it will end up slightly different every time because you have the power to maybe not hold your hand as steady or whatnot as you are using the template. But in most cases, things that you're using a template for will come out very, very similarly with just slight variations. And that is why we have the phenomena and the experience that so many twin flames seem to share, which is the attract-repel cycles and divine masculine and divine feminine and karma or karmic people in each other's lives and things like that, because there is a templated structure of twin flame. And to my knowledge, nobody else has really spoken about this. They've spoken about it in different ways in terms of the stages of twin flame, etc. But the way that my guides presented it to me and the way that I've worked extensively to create a synthesized program about it is important because it helps us understand the actual quantum structure and the fact that there is a template and the fact that there is actually a twin flame matrix. And so many of us are familiar with, the matrix and think of it as one thing, when in fact there can be many matrices or many layers of matrix. And that's why we have this experience, whether we're a twin flame or not, of awakening, because we're awakening throughout the layers of matrix and we're disengaging from the belief systems that allow that matrix to have hold over us. And unfortunately, what's happened in much of the twin flame community and culture, in my experience, no judgment on anyone, but what I have seen happen is that it's created such a dogma and a type of religion within itself that it's trying to almost shame anyone who is working their way out of that matrix and out of that twin flame paradigm or out of the templates, as I've created the teaching on, if they are not working their way out of it in the one sort of dogmatic approved way, which is the popular way of achieving spiritual and physical union with the physical partner in order to ascend. Now, that is definitely possible. I have seen it happen. There are absolutely twin flame couples who come together in order to ascend. And the important thing to remember there is that both of those people are individuals of their free will that are each choosing that and continuing to choose that experience and agreeing to go through that experience together. Now, they're doing that interdependently, not codependently. They have worked through their codependency and are doing that in a way that is healthy and balanced for both of them. And the fact of the matter is that doesn't happen in everyone's experience, which I know, that's why I said trigger warning early or on in the live or the video or however you're watching this currently, because that's really triggering for some people, because some people are very, very ingrained in the dogmatic belief system that twin flames only become conscious and only become aware of each other in order to have that, shall we say, fairy tale ending to their story and ascend in that way. However, because both people have free will, and because we are not, as some people would try to have you believe, we're not two halves of the same soul. That's a misconception. We are each our own soul. There is no one that can fulfill you outside of you. I'm sorry again if this is triggering to people, but There is no one that can fulfill you outside of you. We are not two halves of one soul. We come together to help each other fulfill and understand different things about ourselves. Yes, and we do come together to help each other balance and understand the divine masculine and divine feminine halves and parts of ourself. Yes, but all of that has been misconstrued to sort of sell this fairy tale and this dogma that you're looking for your other half and make people feel less powerful and incomplete, when really so much of the purpose of twin flame is to rediscover your power. And I believe that's why so much of the templates have been misconstrued and misused or mistranslated, you know, as a bit of a power struggle to keep people from their power, really like any religion or dogma, because any religion or dogma is trying to stand in between you and God, source, energy, power, and try to steer you in the fact that there should be or is only one way to experience source or experience ascension or whatever the belief system of that dogma is. And really, in my experience of this universe and of reality, and as a mystic my whole life and for many lives, this universe is quantum, as traditional science is starting to substantiate. This universe is a universe of expansion and infinite possibility. We live in a universe where both like attracts like and opposites attract, right? So we are in a universe of infinite possibility, of constant expansion. So there is never only one way. And any reader or teacher or healer that you work with that tries to instruct you on the fact that this is the way and there is only one way is not necessarily lying to you or trying to mislead you, but is very limited in their experience and not yet willing or able to teach or receive or give from the fact that not everything is going to work for everybody. And in the quantum field, again, there is never only one way. That's why we make adjustments, and that's why we respect everybody's free will, and we respect everybody's soul sovereignty. And I encourage you to do that if you are watching this on a replay or something and you're very triggered and you're going to go to the comment section and try to say that this is wrong. I encourage you to see the fact that I am teaching this out of respect and just out of being a guide to show people that there are more than one possibility. And I really want people to know that, to be in their power and not to be shamed or controlled by any one way or group and try to entrap themselves in an experience that isn't for them or maybe isn't for them any longer. Because in a universe of expansion, in a universe where we're committed to ourselves and our healing and our ascension journey, we are consciously growing and consciously growing our experience. And so therefore we're going to outgrow some experiences sometimes. And you know what? We're meant to. And unfortunately, a lot of the twin flame community at this time is monopolized by people that are very, very attached or addicted to the perception that, you know, ascension only happens one way, and it only happens the way with the physical partner or the physical person. And then what ends up happening is it crowds out all the other possibilities, and it shames the people and the groups, the certain soul groups that are here to ascend in a different way or to show others that there's a different way to ascend. And I've seen and spoken to so many of you who feel deep shame and sadness to come out with your story, to come out with what you're experiencing, which is that some of you are different level twin flames who are outgrowing the templates or doing work like me and shutting down the templates and maybe choosing to not be a twin flame experiencer anymore and live beyond that. And I want to let you know that if you are doing that, it's okay. And if you're doing that of your own free will, and you know in your spirit and your soul that you're doing it for the right reasons, there's nothing wrong with that. And I really am sorry for any of my earlier work that, did push more of the physical union aspect alone, or for any of the people that are shaming you or making you feel pressurized or afraid to speak your truth, because I have come up against it, in presenting this work and in speaking to other readers and healers who have experienced this part of the journey but just are not wanting to talk about it, or are not wanting to talk about it much, because of the fact that the twin flame community can feel a little scary, can feel a little intimidating when you have a different experience, or when you have a questioning of any of the dogma or belief systems. And of course, we should always be able to question so that we can continue to expand. And if you do have a question, by the way, feel free to ask me, whether you're on the live video that I'm doing right now, or whether you're watching this as a replay. And if you're triggered by this, if you're triggered by the understanding, which to a lot of people is a new understanding, that there can be more than one way to flame, more than one way to twin flame, more than one way to ascend as a twin flame. If you're really triggered by that, before you write a hate comment, I encourage you to explore why you're triggered and what exactly you're triggered about. Because if you really listen to what I'm saying and what I've been saying throughout promoting this, and trying to guide and help others through it, is just really that everyone should be respected in their free will, and that I would like to and am working to step into that role as guide to help those struggling in these other ways to ascend as a twin flame, which we're going to talk about in a second. So again, if you're triggered, ask me a question rather than make a hate comment, please, because I've had hate comments already, and it's really disrespectful to you as well as myself, and I am just not going to tolerate any disrespect that you have towards my clients or people in my comment section as well. So please be respectful and think about what you're saying, and think if you're kind of just mirroring what people in the very religious communities have said to us as twin flames and light workers, in terms of just trying to shut down anyone else's experience that's different from our own, and if you really want to continue to be a part of that. I apologize that I have to make that PSA to those of you who are respectful, but we live in that world currently with the online warriors who get very much in their feelings and just express it that way. But I did say that we were going to talk about the other ways to ascend as a twin flame other than the one physical union experience where both people continue to choose that. So basically, even though we're in infinite possibilities here, I have sort of boiled it down to 3 baseline experiences of being a twin flame. It's first and foremost most important to understand that twin flame is not the other half of your soul. As we were saying, twin flame is a frequency. You were created at the same time or at the same frequency level through a templated soul agreement system as the person or the people that you learn or discover your twin flame to be, because yes, there can be more than one, which you will learn if you want to take part in my twin flame template healing energy intensive, which you can find links for in either my bio or the description, depending on which platform you're viewing this on. I go into a teaching about the soul wheel and how the twins are created to mirror each other, and how there are in fact multiple sets on that soul wheel. So yes, there can be more than one person in any given lifetime that you experience as twin flame if you move position in where you are on the soul wheel, or if one or more parties gives up on the experience. And so you're created at the same frequency level. You're a frequency match for one another, created with source energy to match that frequency. And you make a soul agreement to come into multiple lifetimes experiencing each other and experiencing a divine mirroring aspect of one another, and experiencing the type of polarity that creates worlds, right? So that's why we have in so many traditions the god and goddess, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, because those polar energies create between them. And we are each source energy in our own right. We each have divine feminine and divine masculine within us, which is something that I've been consistent in teaching throughout, before, during, and after my major twin flame periods. And that's something I believe and know to be true, that no matter who we are and how we are expressing as a gender or in that lifetime, we are here to understand that we're all a part of Source. Source is both, Source is everything, and many of us choose the twin flame soul agreement, creation, soul agreement paradigm to remember how to adequately embody and balance both the divine feminine and divine masculine. So usually what happens is partners will each carry one frequency that is outwardly more masculine, and the other person will carry then the other frequency, which is outwardly more feminine. And through the polarity and through the divine mirror aspect of one another through the lifetimes, they will learn about how to embrace both of those frequencies and balance both of those frequencies within themselves. Now, then we also use the mirror for multiple things, right? It's why twin flames love each other so much. We use the mirror to see everything about our soul. And in the beginning of the relationship, when we come back into conscious physical reality together, we see everything we love about each other and about the other one, and they see everything they love about us, and then we start to see things that we love about us that we didn't love before, and it's so much intense love. And then at a certain point, the mirror sort of flips so that we're now seeing all the wounding. And remember that the frequency match means that our wounds are also a perfect match. All of our hang-ups, all of our karmas, all of our limiting belief systems. And so then the relationship and the mirror starts to trigger those things in order to bring them to the surface to be healed. And so you can go in these periods of attract and repel, and even the cycles when you're repelling one another and in separation, then you learn to have the telepathic and spiritual communication and union again, usually. And you learn through these cycles, how to heal the things about yourself that are not working anymore, how to resolve the karmas that you've carried around lifetime after lifetime, and all of that, right? So much that I've gone through many times before and helped a lot of clients with, and that I'm sure you're familiar with. But then what can happen is, and the other ways that the twin flame experience can go is, yes, the periods of separation and attract repel, usually both twins become committed to using the tumultuousness to heal their lives, but there's often one who's predominantly or becomes predominantly aware of the twin flame thing, and they become very attached to that usually, and they become aware of the twin flame community, readers, healers, etc. They may even awaken their own gifts and abilities as a channeler, reader, or healer, and so they dive headfirst into using that twin flame information to work on their healing. And sometimes, yes, doing that work brings the twins back together, and they go in this route of the physical union. Sometimes there are certain twins who do become aware of the twin flame information and are committed to their healing, but are at a stage in their lifetime development where they're more involved in the attract repel cycle, and I have seen quite a few twin flames where that is their entire lifetime together, the attract repel. So that is another one of the baseline experiences that can happen. Now, there will be readers and healers online who don't want to hear me say that and want to just hear me say, or they will want to tell you that they're just doing it wrong, they're not committed enough to their journey. that's not necessarily true. It's just everyone's at a different level and everyone's at a different lifetime. Some twins have agreed to that experience where they have so much to heal, but there may be resistance about healing certain things, and they stay in an attract repel cycle for an entire lifetime or two. It happens. Not to be afraid of that if that's felt like you, because then you have the third baseline option of twin flame experience, which is you can transition yourself out of that and have the third baseline experience where this is the one that's going to be really triggering to people, but it's my experience again. You either outgrow the twin flame experience because your soul makes you aware that you have learned everything you are supposed to learn from that relationship, and balanced all the karma that you're supposed to through the mirror of that relationship. And it does happen sometimes to twin flame couples where one or both realize that they've done everything they're supposed to do together, they've learned as much as they can, and they've grown as much as they can or want to together, and they decide to consciously uncouple. Or what is the more common thing is that the person that is very aware of the twin flame experience is very, very dedicated to their healing, and getting into this habit where they utilize everything in their life as an experience to learn about themselves and become very self-aware and heal themselves. And they're doing all the things, they're following all the programs, they may have gone to all the healers, but that separation period never seems to end, or there's a timeline shift that's very drastic, and suddenly all the signs and all the progress that was going in one direction flips into another direction where they may still have some spiritual contact with the twin, but it's moving farther apart, and they're noticing that less and less of their life is focused on twin, or less and less of their life is working if twin is their focus. And so often those people will go through very large grieving periods and start to pull back from the twin flame community. They'll start to pull back from maybe some of their twin flame manifesting and work, and sometimes they'll tell themselves that they're doing that in order to release the manifestation and allow it to come to them. But these people will start to receive signs very often. I'm sorry if it just paused there for a second. I received a message. But these people will start to receive signs in most cases that show that the other person has opted out. The other person has opted out of the experience. They're no longer willing to go through that experience. That you may get a message that you've actually balanced the karma between the two of you, spiritual message, which is something, again, that's very triggering to people. People don't want to believe that twin flames have karma between them because it's a different type of karma. It's a catalyzing karma, but it is a karma because we've been through so many lifetimes together. How would we not accrue karma? It's just the fact that it's not karma in a toxic way as we've come to know it with other people. It is, again, karma that catalyzes us to grow and to elevate ourselves into the Dharma, which is what we're meant to do. And so there are groups of twin flames, especially coming online now and within the past, I would say, year to 2 years is what I've gauged from the collective that I've experienced and those that I've worked with or spoken to, that have realized that twin flame may just no longer be for them, and that they do have the power to ascend on their own. They're, releasing themselves from these belief systems and from the other person, or maybe they were released from the other person. But what ends up happening is, even though you know that in your heart and soul, it can be difficult to traverse by yourself. It's not to say that you can't do it by yourself, but it can be difficult to traverse by yourself because you have to come up against all of the belief systems and all of the dogma that twin flame has projected into the world and into all these belief systems about twin flame that tell you that it's wrong. But what I want to tell you is that if you know that you've done everything you can, you cannot, and nobody can, I don't care what formula they give you, nobody can infuse themselves on the free will of another. And when it happens, there are major karmic reparations for that. Now, I know in the manifesting community, there's a lot about SPs and ways that people think that they could do it without intrinsing upon other people's free will. If you actually ask those people that do it successfully and do it reputably, most of them will tell you that they're doing something about reality transferring and transferring to another reality where the person of their free will agrees to the experience that you are trying to manifest. However, why this is different and why I wouldn't suggest going that route if you feel called to this part of the twin flame experience is because twin flame are here in large part, if you're here listening to this and if you're interested in this, twin flame are here in large part to heal the whole multidimensional self, the whole multidimensional sphere, the whole experience in order for full and complete ascension. And so why would you want to allow a reality where you're going to that reality because that's the one reality where somebody chooses you, when you know that for the majority of the experiences they are not choosing you, or that there is a way where you can be done with that karma and with that karmic soul contract by transcending the twin flame template and twin flame matrix. Which again, I'm not trying to convince anybody that my way or any way is better than another. I'm just trying to show you all the options because most people won't try to show you all the options. And I really want you to know that you're a powerful being with choices. And I also want you to know there are multiple outcomes that can happen from healing and clearing and freeing yourself from these twin flame templates. From what I've seen, now, reminder here, I don't want anybody to get attached to any of the outcomes. There are no guarantees. Everybody's soul journey is unique to them, and of course free will. But it's not necessarily to say that you're never going to see that soul or that person again if you ascend and you're ascending beyond them, if you're ascending on your own. It's very important to remember that ending soul contracts and ending karmic contracts doesn't mean that we never have the possibility to see the person or that soul again. It means that we are no longer obligated to see them because of the karma or because of the soul contract. And so you get to decide, as that other soul gets to decide, if you want to come back together again at another time of both of your free will, and if you want to have relationship that is outside of the bounds and the limitations of the twin flame matrix and of that contract. It's a good thing to end a contract. As any business person will tell you, it's a good thing to fulfill a contract. So the people and the dogma that's trying to tell us that it's somehow not good, that there is no contract, which first of all, everything that we experience in life is a contract. I hate to be the bearer of bad news if that's bad news to you, but everything that we experience in life is a contract. Whether we make it eons ago when our soul was created, or whether we make it just for that lifetime, everything that we experience is a level of agreement and of consent, whether that's subconscious or conscious. And so it is always a good thing to end a contract. Now, the people that are afraid of that are afraid of ending of the contract, meaning the ending of everything. And of course that can happen. It can be the ending of everything with that particular soul or person, or it could be the ending of only experiencing those people through the lens of that contract. And so some souls do remain in contact. You know, I'm in contact with souls that I experienced twin flame with, not in this lifetime. I mean, I have the benefit of being a medium, so I knew them in spirit in this lifetime, even before I had the physical experience of twin, which was helpful to me because I can live that experience, that we can still maintain contact with these souls even after we've checked all the lessons off the list and ended the contract with them. But that's not why I want you to do this or explore this possibility. I want you to do this and explore this possibility because it's a healthier, in my opinion, thing to do. And because it's another way to ascend that doesn't keep you waiting on somebody else's free will in order to have your ticket to growth or ascension, which your soul is going to buck back on eventually anyway if you're trying to do that. And that's why so many things can fall apart in life if we're too focused on only going in one direction and doing one thing. So anyway, all of that being said boils down to, if you're confused about this, if you're called to it, but you just don't know how to approach it or make your way through it yourself, that is why I have worked quite hard and for thousands of hours, honestly, on, synthesizing all this material and all of this healing and all of this way of being into a program that I call Detoxing the Twin Flame Template, because I believe that our soul does need to go through that detox, and it's so helpful when our soul can do that in a support system or with a guide like myself, because again, we are working to change the core beliefs that have been imprinted on us or lived for so long that say that twin flame is or could or should only be one way. And changing beliefs is a lot of work. You heal, you purge. It takes a lot. And there is, as I said, there are grieving periods. There are ways that you need to learn how to love and live and manifest differently, because we've done so much of that through the guise of the Twin Flame Mirror for so long. So I have this program, Detoxing the Twin Flame Templates. You can go to my website, damsel.designs.com/products/twin flame healing. And I am currently running it live again. I run it live periodically. I'm not going to say the date in this because I want this video to be evergreen. So check the comment section or the caption or the description of this video to see the most recent dates, which, if you're watching this live or close to the upload date, is very, very soon, this weekend. And check to see when the next date is. You can get your tickets to that. It is run on Zoom. It's run in a 2-weekend container because of the fact that it is an energy healing, and in my experience, I always like to create safe spaces for people and an extra opportunity to go over the energy after a healing in case anyone has a detox or purge period. I like to have that available, which is why for my one-on-one works, I only do healings now and quantum healings through packages, so that I can make sure that I'm available to keep working with the client as they integrate that healing energy. So for this and for group healing, which makes it more cost-effective and affordable for you, by the way, we do that in a 2-weekend container. The first day of the 2-weekend container, we do a teaching protocol where we go even further into what we've discussed today. We reintroduce you to what twin flame is and could be from a higher level of understanding, and we help you to work and integrate that new belief in. Then we also go through the very special healing protocols that I have created, which one of those things is we work to get your soul the apologies that you never got. And what that does is it helps your soul and your multidimensional soul tap into different fragments of your soul, different fractals, different timelines of experience with this other person or any other soul that you've experienced twin with. And it helps to heal those fractured parts of your heart and soul by hearing and receiving healing energy through those apologies. Because what ends up happening, especially if separation has occurred, is most people do not receive the apologies that they need from the other person. And so a part of our soul ends up waiting for it. So what we do is we get you those apologies through a channeled healing event, and we heal those parts of you. And then after that healing has taken place, we work another part of the event. If you're ready for it, you do have the option to do that at a later time via recording if you don't feel quite ready during the live portion. Excuse me, allergies. Then what we do is, after the heart healing portion, we work to help you reset your mirror, your divine mirror, and call your mirror back from those other fractals and back to you, and reset your divine mirror so that you're no longer looking or waiting for the experience of twin flame or the experience of relationship to teach you those lessons that you need about life, or the things that you need to see about your soul. You are redefining that and resetting that to your own life and your own soul experience, and in full power and control of your own soul and divine mirror again. So that is very, very powerful. We also go over information about the wanderers and the wanderer souls and spirits, and which level and density we love at. So we go over 4th, 5th, and 6th density, which are currently the 3 most common types of experiences and incarnations on our planet right now, and we help you understand how you and or your partner have loved within those densities, so that you understand. It's almost like understanding another type of love language, and understanding where your soul is coming from in that, so that you understand better how you love, how you have loved, how you are ascending through the lessons of love, so that you can see and decide if you want to love differently going forward. Because what we end up learning is that so much of the way we have loved is based on attachment style and wounded attachment style, or based on our wounding, in order for us to learn that we are wounded in those areas and come into more self-awareness and self-love and wholeness and all of that. So that is really interesting information. It's based on the law of one material with Ra. Speaking of deities, we also work with Isis and Osiris. We speak about their twin flame template and how we can stop carrying their twin flame template or that pain forward. We really go into so much. It's very in-depth. The first weekend goes for several hours with Bath and Briggs, of course. And then we meet again the second week, where we go over your questions. Many of your questions end up being answered by the channeling and healing portion, but that's the reason why we do the questions period majority in weekend 2. We go over anything that hasn't been settled through that first week. Throughout the 2 weekend period in between, rather, people are often integrating and still receiving energy from the container. I've had clients that have gotten really cool signs in person and had a lot of in-depth dreams and things like that after the healing portion has taken place. And so that's why we meet again. We smooth over the energy, we answer your questions, and then we do a reading portion for you, which is why space is limited, so that everyone can get their answers to their personal reading questions, any personal reading questions that they have about their person or their experience or their people that they need resolved in their minds in order to move forward. And that's basically it. I mean, it's not basic at all. It's very, very complex and in-depth, but that is the program. Who is meant for this program or who is best for it, that's really up to you if you're called to experience. I would never suggest that someone do this in lieu of the twin flame experience. I have lived that, as I said, for many, many lifetimes. I find it extraordinarily valuable. I know personally, and for a lot of clients of mine that would say the same thing, I would never have healed the things that I have healed and come to this understanding and love level for myself, or really this ability to accept so much of myself or what I've experienced, had I not lived the twin flame experience and loved in that way and in that capacity and been loved in that way. But what I want you to realize is that even though we think of that as the ultimate love, if we are placing so much dogma on it, then is not the dogma a limit in itself and a limit on that type of love? If we say that it only has to be one way, and especially if that way is no longer serving us anymore, what is that saying? Are we limiting love in addition to limiting our souls and our spirits? And so much of the twin flame love and experience teaches us to love unconditionally, and so that also means loving without the condition of needing it to be a certain way and accepting it for whatever way our soul is taking it on. So again, I encourage you, if you are still learning from the twin flame experience, if it hasn't started to dissolve for you, if there is any part of you that still feels the energy going back and forth, whether or not you're in contact with the person at this time, I encourage you to check and see, or talk to me, you can message me as well, and see if you really feel this is the best time for you to do a program like this, because it may not be. This is not for everybody, but this is for the groups, and the very, in my experience, the very powerful groups of twin flame who have come to this planet at this time to also be an example of what it can be and what it can look like to resolve these contracts and resolve these karmas with people in love, in acceptance, in power, and see what it looks like to move forward and to love without any limits, even the limits of twin flame matrix or experience. And I really want to see what that looks like when more people are doing that on this planet. So I'm very proud to have freed myself, shall we say, from that part of a limiting experience. In my opinion and experience, it was limited, and I'm very proud to have helped some others through, again, in respect to what twin flame is, in respect to their journey and what their journey has led them to. This is for the people that know that they have learned everything that they can from the experience, or are feeling like they may have learned everything that they can from the experience, and are looking to see what's next for them and be guided through what's next for them, whatever that ends up being. I'm not here to create another template for anyone. I am here to literally help people escape the templates and come back into more of their power, call more of their experience back to them, and see where that gets them. Right? We don't all have to be the same, and we don't all have to follow the same rules or the same template or the same experience of ascension. And if you are one of the brave souls who is called to this and called to experience, or at least explore what this is or can look like for you, I encourage you, buy your ticket, save your space, save your seat. If you're watching this on replay at a later time when it's not available right now, join the waitlist for it, or message me for a waitlist for it. It will be the same address link, so that you can keep using that link and use the join waitlist. Be sure to check the comment section in the description. I may be working on other presentations for this as well, which will be updated there within the guise of this video. And I also do work this energy one-on-one, so I have twin flame transition sessions that I work with people, and I also do quantum healing, quantum energy healing, and life coaching packages. So if you are called to those are done on a consultation basis first, and we can build you a custom package if we are a good fit, and we can work this energy one-on-one for you as well over a period of time. So check the links, give me a message, share this with others that you feel that it can help. And if you have listened this far, I really appreciate you. I appreciate you having an open mind and an open heart, and an openness to see the different types of experiences that are and can be out there. And even if the program isn't for you at this time, I hope, and it was my intention, to fill this video with enough information, that's part of the program, that you can see that there are keys in there that you could work in your own capacity if the program's not for you at this time. So I encourage you to work with those. Maybe leave a comment and share anything that really spoke to you, or like I said, leave me a question, respectfully, please, and I would love to engage with you in that way as well. If you're not called to this particular work, or if this resonated but you've already moved past it, I also offer quantum sessions and Akashic Records sections and starseed support and a whole bunch of different types of offerings and things. I have a really cool Empaths and Energy Instant Access Masterclass and so many other things that I do with my gift, energy art and enlightened merch and such. So you can check the other parts of my website, 𝑘𝓳𝓹𝓃𝓴𝑑𝒻𝋹𝒐𝑠.com, for those, or you could message me for other types of quantum energy healing and life coaching packages. I would love to work with you in any capacity, and if you are able, I would love for you to give me a follow or a subscribe if you're resonating, and share this with others so that more of this message can be out there. I do want to say, because of the way the internet is currently working for many people, I maintain rights to all of this information that I have presented in this way, as I am the only one that I know of that has synthesized it and summed it up in this way and worked very hard to do so. So please respect the energy of that and don't repost or share the information without written consent for me, so that people can come back to the source of this information. But if you have a channel and you want to talk about it on your channel, message me. I would love to engage more with people and talk about the information more. And with that, I am going to close this video out. I am wishing you much love and many light codes. I will see you next time. Love, Danielle. #Damsel at 𝑘𝓳𝓹𝓃𝓴 of damseldesigns.com. Bye for now.